Hey guys, welcome back to the old mill shed. Have you considered buying a battery-powered chainsaw but not entirely certain that they'll live up to the hype? Are you someone who, like me, has acreage and big saws and not entirely certain that you have a job where this tool would fit? Are you scared that if you buy a battery-powered chainsaw you would lose your man card? Well, this video's for you. So today we're reviewing the Kobalt 40V electric chainsaw. It's a 14-inch bar. When I bought this, it came with the charger, which is back in the shed, a 4 amp hour battery that has this little handy battery button on it and lets you know that it's fully charged. I charged this last night. Comes with a little sheath to put the chain in so you don't dull it up or cut yourself or catch it on something when it's not in use, and the saw. All of this together cost me $176 new. Now I've had it for a couple of years and I've always been meaning to do a review on it, but have never gotten around to it. The saw itself is pretty straightforward. You have your bar oil that goes in here the same as on another chainsaw, and you have your battery that just slides in here. Kobalt, where you at? Kobalt will be facing back towards you. And like I said, you have the little battery meter here to tell what you have, so when you're cutting, you can see how much longer you have. Now, like most electric chainsaws, this does not have a chain brake. So that is one safety feature I don't like, or a missing safety feature that I don't like. But at the same time, I'm not entirely certain this saw would have enough power to set a chain brake off to begin with, so it might have been why they just didn't bother putting one on. So I have some trees back behind me marked that I want to take down, and I've been saving them just to use this saw for. And the test is going to be, how much can I cut? How much wood can I cut on one battery charge? Now we're using a stock Kobalt battery. It came with a 4 amp hour battery. We're going to use a 4 amp hour battery. Now they do make 8. I don't have any yet. I have considered buying some. I'm kind of waiting for the prices to kind of settle down on those here, like they just hit the market. So I did charge the battery last night. I have a full charge on the battery. It's only been off the charger about 20 minutes. And I also put a brand new chain on. Now the chain that was on it was in good shape, but I didn't want to have my sharpening affect the outcome of the test. I wanted to make this as close to as you buy the saw stock as I could. So I removed every variable that I could think of. Even though this is an electric chainsaw and it doesn't have the power and the noise and all the drama that goes along with it as a gas chainsaw, you still need to observe all of your safety protocols. You still want to wear your saw chaps. This thing doesn't have a chain brake. It could still get into you and cut you very badly. You still want to wear your chainsaw helmet. Something could fall on you. The earmuffs, you probably don't need as much. This thing is very quiet. I normally still put my earmuffs down just to help stabilize the helmet. And always wear eye protection. Guys, you can't hear boobs. Protect your eyes. Okay guys, so I cut that paradise tree down. Normally I wouldn't even bother cutting up a paradise tree, but today we're doing more of just how much the saw will cut, more so than, you know, the quality of the firewood we're getting. So that, if I was to round it up just a little bit more, maybe add 2 or 3 pieces over there, about 5 or 6 pieces over here, that would be about how we normally round this trailer up. I'm down to 1 light on my battery. I'm going to go up next to the driveway and I'm going to drop that white oak. Now before I drop it, I am going to go get my spare battery, just because if it dies in the cut, I don't want it to just be hanging out there. I want to go ahead and put it on the ground. Okay, so that's the end of it. So the wood we had on the trailer out there next to the road and then dropping this tree was all you can cut on a 4 amp hour battery. So we'll go measure up what we got on the trailer. We won't count this tree. And yeah, it's not showing me anything. It's not giving me anything. Okay guys, I had to move it indoors. The wind is really starting to pick up outside. And I'm not entirely certain this microphone was filtering it all out. So when I measured up the height of the pile of wood we got, it was averaged at about 24. May have been a touch more, but we're going to call it 24 for the math. 4 feet wide, 3 feet long is 24 cubic feet. A cord is 128 cubic feet. So we're about 3/16 of a cord on one 4 amp hour battery. Now, I cut my wood 3 feet long. If you cut your wood 18 inches long, you're going to be looking at 3/32 of a cord, because you're making more cuts to get the same amount of wood. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, and you're right, it isn't. But it's not really what these saws are made for, in my opinion. So the question is, okay, if the saw is not made for this, why do you have one? Well, honestly, if you was to go back 5 years ago and say, hey Jason, you need to buy a battery operated saw, they're great, I would have looked at you like you had 3 heads. Didn't want no part of them. I had my Husqvarnas. They were serving me very well. To me, an electric chainsaw was a waste of my time. Until it come time for me to teach my son how to run a chainsaw. And I really didn't want to hand him a 562 Husqvarna and say, alright kid, have at it. Where he couldn't hear me. It may have been a little bit much for him to handle. And I said, well, we'll get an electric chainsaw. It's quiet enough he can hear me talking while he's running it. And it's not as overwhelming to a new user. For that purpose, it worked very, very well. I was able to instruct him on how to cut down trees. Obviously, we didn't cut down big trees, but I was able to instruct him enough that he could learn how to safely drop a tree before graduating up to something bigger. It also didn't have a lot of power. It wasn't going to get away from him. And sometimes when you're teaching new people how to run a saw, the saw itself will make them nervous, and they're more likely to mess up and hurt themselves because they are scared of the machine that they're using. After I had the saw for a while, I noticed that if I needed something just cut quick, like say I cut a piece of firewood a little bit too long and I just needed to zip off the end of it and throw it in the stove, I found myself using the electric saw more than I would come out here, fill up the 435 to 562 with gas, put the oil in it, take out your crank on it, get it going, make 1 or 2 cuts, and then cut it off. I found myself just grabbing the battery, popping it into the saw, 2 quick cuts, and I was done. And then when I opened up the back side of the land where I could get over on the back side of the property, now there's roads over there, and every now and again a little tree would fall across it. Well, having that little electric saw was a lot easier than carrying one of the gas saws. I could just fill up the oil tank, pop a battery in it, and I didn't have to take a gas can or anything with me. Not that I probably would have really had to with the other saws, but I guess it's just habit. Throw the saw in the carry-all. I threw the gas and the oil in there too. So if you have just a little lap or a tree across the road, just zip it up real quick. It's out of the way, and you go on about your business. So after having an electric chainsaw, especially a battery-operated chainsaw, I was wrong. They are actually very useful little tools to have, and I'm very glad that I bought one. Okay guys, well that was the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps the algorithm a lot. We'll see you here next time under the shed.